Hi there guys, and welcome back to Naturally Rawsome. I'm Eva, and today I want to talk to you about thinning hair, hair loss, some hairy stuff. Let's get started. So I've been dealing with thinning hair quite a long time before I even realized it. And when I realized it, I didn't really do anything specific against it. I just kept on eating what I ate and thought that would do it and that things would get better. But there are sure some things to know when you're dealing with thinning hair or hair loss, and that is hair thinning or hair loss can come from different things. First of all, it can be due to lots of stress in your life. Also, if you have some events happening in your life, like you had a breakup or you had a financial crisis, a loved one died, or something like that. That's also causing stress and causes our adrenals to release adrenaline and cortisol, which can be corrosive, and that can cause hair loss as well. And if you're already dealing with some skin issues like eczema and psoriasis and already have an itchy scalp, then things like that can add to it and you can lose hair even easier. But it's just a possibility. That doesn't mean that if you have eczema and stress that you will lose a lot of hair, something like this. It can be, but it doesn't have to be. And another thing is people always think that their hair loss is connected to a thyroid issue. But, well, the thyroid is not necessarily completely the issue. The underlying issue is actually the Epstein-Barr virus. And that can be in the liver as well as in the thyroid. And the problem is that when the Epstein-Barr virus is in the thyroid and the thyroid can't produce its necessary hormones, then the adrenals kick in to produce the hormones that the body needs. And that is causing the adrenals to kind of stress out. And in the long run, that sure can lead to hair loss as well. So the underlying issue is the EBV, and it can also be in the liver. And when it's in the liver, it can create some kind of dermatoxins that go up to the scalp, and then you end up with losing your hair. So Epstein-Barr virus is definitely one factor that can be behind hair loss as well, and is in many people, I think, the case, especially if you're dealing with thyroid issues. Stress sure is a factor that I've been dealing with and even not realizing it, but I'm always kind of stressing myself out internally. Like, people think I'm always very calm and quiet, and I'm very much at peace. But if you would see me from the inside, then I'm like, well, I gotta get this ready until then. And now I still gotta get this ready. And I still wanted to do that. So on the inside, it's a totally different picture when you look at me. And I always notice that when I get stressed, that my scalp would get itchy, especially in the back, and I was scratching. And but let's come to two more things that can cause hair loss. And one would be a nutrient deficiency, which can also be due to, if you didn't eat enough nutritious foods like greens and nourishing foods like celery juice and all the healthy stuff, fruits and vegetables and greens. And last but not least, we have radiation. So if you go to your dentist or doctor and they do an x-ray on you, then this can also cause you to lose hair because it's such, so detrimental to our body. And most of the people don't even realize it and make the connection to it. But getting x-rays is definitely a burden to our body, not just for our hairs, but in general, because of the radiation. And if the EBV is in the liver and is releasing not only the dermatoxins that cause the hairs to fall out, there can also be heavy metals in the liver, which the virus feeds on, and that is kind of counterproductive because heavy metals are very detrimental to our bodies too, and almost everybody has them. And that's why it's so essential to take care of your body and eating all of the heavy metal detox foods and the heavy metal detox smoothie, of course, to get rid of the heavy metals and to take away the food for the viruses. And to boost our liver and bring it out of its sluggishness and stagnantness, for sure. So if you're already dealing with hair loss or thinning hair, what is it that you can do to get better? There are certain foods that kind of support hair thinning and hair loss to get better. But what I've learned from my experience is as soon as I started being really, really good at and paying attention to eating my adrenal snacks every 1.5 to 2 hours, I don't get the itchy scalp anymore when I'm stressed. Maybe a little bit, but not really to that extent. Before, I got stressed and I got itchy scalp. And now, as I'm eating all of the adrenal snacks every 2 hours, like apple, celery, and date, or sometimes even just an apple or celery together, then my adrenals are much more calm and I don't get an itchy scalp. My hairs also started to grow back, and that's why sometimes I get some kind of short hairs in the front that are hanging around. But I see it as a positive thing, even though it looks kind of messy sometimes. But it's definitely a positive sign. And you might have guessed it as well, mentioning the celery. Celery juice is very, very good for the adrenals too, and helps with the hair loss thing, because besides being good for the adrenals, it's also very rich in mineral salts, minerals and nutrients, and keeps our bodies nourished and vital. And besides that, it also helps to flush out pathogens and heavy metals. So you definitely want to make sure to drink that in the morning. It's another adrenal booster and good for your hairs. And then, of course, there are other foods, and especially herbs, that are beneficial, and I also started taking them. I started taking licorice root tincture, 2 weeks on and 2 weeks off. And I also started ashwagandha, and I always eat that in the evening, and I didn't even get the tincture, which is the best probably. Years ago I got a powder that didn't really taste that good, so I left it in the closet for a while. And now I remembered I still have it, and I started putting it into capsules, and that's what I eat in the evening now after my dinner salad to support my adrenals. And it also helps the liver because it keeps the adrenals from overreacting and underreacting, and that also supports the liver because the liver then doesn't have to sponge up all of the excess adrenaline. And another thing that is very beneficial is nettles. It's pretty much an essential, because it's not only good for the hairs but also for the skin and the nails, and it's very nutrient dense and rich in silica, just like cucumbers. And it's an ancient food, a wild food that is so beneficial that you sure don't want to miss out on, because it's so nourishing. And what I started doing is I either drink it as a tea, or I sometimes add a little bit of nettle powder to my spinach soup to keep myself nourished and to support my adrenals, and yeah, keep my nails and hairs and teeth strong as possible. And of course, if you're already eating the heavy metal detox smoothie, you also consume the very essential ingredients, which is barley grass juice powder and spirulina. Also 2 very nutrient dense foods that are also providing our body with nutrients to support our scalp and our overall health, to stay nourished and healthy. And besides that, also helps to flush out heavy metals, of course. And then we have amla berry. Amla berry is something that I started using by taking it internally, orally, and by applying it onto my scalp every 2 to 3 days. I always apply amla berry oil that I got in my health food store. And it's actually a mix. It's not just amla berry, there's also vitamin E in it and some other things, but the basic component is amla berry, which kind of increases the blood flow in your scalp. So it's kind of nourishing the hairs and yeah, increases the blood flow to your hairs and hair roots, everything. Yeah, and that's what I apply before I go to bed, and then in the next morning I just wash it off so it has enough time to soak in and all the way through. And of course I also add amla berry powder or pressed links to my smoothie in the morning and in the afternoon. And besides the barley grass juice powder and spirulina, of course, all kinds of other greens are essential because they are nutrient dense, rich in minerals, and provide you with a lot of nutrients that are essential for our overall health and to keep our body alkaline. And yeah, if you combine them with some fruit, then it's actually the perfect adrenal snack to also support your adrenals, and by that lowering your stress and supporting your liver as well. And then we have 3 more things that are on the list. I did not even really give them a try, but I know that they can be helpful, and some people say that they are. So 3 more things that there are 1, it's sweet potato, which is very good not only for the hairs but also for, in women's case, for their reproductive system. And then avocados and raspberry leaf, which you can get as a tea and drink on a daily basis. And yeah, all of those 3 are actually also very good for your reproductive system. Oh yeah, one thing that might also be helpful if you're dealing with the Epstein-Barr virus is, of course, to get on antiviral support. I like antiviral supplements or foods that help to get rid of the Epstein-Barr virus, which can be the underlying issue of your hair thinning or hair loss. So that's it for today. I hope these tips are helpful to you and you can start incorporating them into your daily life. And for me, the most obvious thing that helped my thinning hair and hair loss was to eat the adrenal snacks, and maybe that is helping you as well. and shows you how important the adrenal snacks are. They are working on multiple levels to support our body, and yeah, I'd say we shouldn't miss out on them any day. So I hope this video was helpful for you, and if you have even more tips, then you can share them in the comments below. Leave me your thoughts down below, and I'm looking forward to them. And see you guys soon in another video. And until then, remember, keep it light and simple. And as always, naturally, Rawsome. Bye!